Okay, ito nakapili na ako.
Nice. I'm gonna play Crisis 2. I'm gonna finish it for the 5th time.
Exit ko pala yung rifles.
Ah, nice.
Target sighted. Engaging. This is Azure 7. We have a gunner down.
Tearing up the
Pulling
lab.
out.
Years of research gone.
Step for wives. Diba sa akin? Last ko na panood to super tagal na. Yung book niya more on like mystery. Pero yung movie more like comedy. Ikaw nilang lain.
Ano yung title doon?
Stepford Wives. Tungkol siya sa isang town. Lumipat yung couple dun sa town. Town ng couples, their family na like may kids. Tapos, medyo weird. Parang masyadong parang uncanny valley. Tapos, yun pala kinikid. Kasi masyadong traditional wives yung mga parang kinikid yung tao dun. And yung nagawa sa na i-wash and i-place nila.
Oh no!
This is Azure 7. Primary take some heavy damage. We're bailing out.
Prophet! Get out of there! Those bastards are gonna put you at the bottom of the river. Target! Man down! Requesting backup! He's dead. We have a man down. Lost vital signs. Heavy fire. We have a man down. Requesting backup. Copy that. Weapons free. We have a man down. Got visual. Down there. Man down, man. Taking heat. Engaging primary targets.
She's the most successful president in the history of our network and for the past to the very top of the region. Our battle, our lion card today, so to take us right to the end. They call them a triumph, achievement,
Going down.
Oh, man. You're still there. Thank God. Listen, I'm sending coordinates to the suit. It's not far. I've got a cradle set up here, too. Superannuated Crynet stock. Took it out of storage when I quit. It's not as powerful as the one in the lab, but it'll have to do.
Monday, final gender challenge. Who takes more money? Every year and
It's right across the flood barrier. Come on, man.
wishes they were married to a hot, sexy lesbian. Yes, stop. Thursday. No, this is not just a TV show. No, this is a break to a break out of break all the rules, bring on the Emmys, Vegas. Surrounded by professional politics. And at the end of the week,
Well, it's been a week. So now, from Omaha, I spent the entire 7 days finessing a all girl ballet dancer. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Napanood mo na ba Baby School of Rock?
Hindi pa, babe.
Gusto mo panoorin natin this weekend?
Ngayon,
This weekend, babe.
G, babe.
Move out!
That'll be perfect.
Go!
Stream pala ka.
Pause stretch.
Perfect siya.
Now it's time for final
I
decision.
really should
Barbara,
specify
first
that.
spin. It's gonna be
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
for Omaha's.
I'm forgetting. I'm streaming on
Figure out ko naman.
Twitch. Subscribe.
Like,
my
share, and
channel.
subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. And also love.
Okay, good. You're there. I'm gonna send the elevator down for you.
excuse me?
Why did you do it?
My God, it's like you do better.
Man, you wouldn't believe the shit that's gone down in the last 24 hours. Barclays guys are getting creamed uptown. Crynet are falling the fuck apart everywhere else. Chaos.
Love it. Relations are hard to easy, not for anyone.
Man, I'm glad you're here. Waiting's been creeping me out. Come on in, quick. Let's get these doors locked.
And you're gonna be
That shit you absorbed at the crash site. Lit up the suit systems like a pinball, man. Definitely viral. Same base structure as the nanowheel. Hargreave must be nuts playing with that shit like it was Kevlar.
Got a great idea.
Right in
Another
there.
haunted show.
Got a cradle rig. Same
It's
base.
called Let's Kill All the Women.
Have to sync.
Take us out on the island, just a bit less power. Let's get you checked out.
I don't scratch. You haven't heard. Before trying to kill you, I just
So, yeah. Tara Strickland, man. Daughter of you know
Life's
who.
critical condition
Some
and war
fucked up
with
shit,
others
right?
lives.
And Hargreave. Well, who knows what's going on in his head?
Very
Nano protocols engaged.
Strange. This doesn't. Wait a. You're not Prophet! What is this? Who are you? Did Hargreave send you here to.
Find gold Primary systems rerouted. Clear to proceed.
Jesus, I can't do this anymore. I'm not some Spec Ops hard man like you... like Prophet was. I'm a geek conspiracy nut, for Christ's sake. God damn it! Prophet was supposed to get us out. The Marines were coming for us. Now... Know anything about cephalopods? Dumb question, right? Of course you don't. Well, you want the dumbed-down version? We're getting our asses kicked out there by calamari. You ever wonder what the Aztecs and the Incas felt like when they saw smallpox for the first time? I mean, you've seen the spore, right? Seen what it does? Prophet kept saying he found an answer to it.
Scan complete. Warning.
That's not possible.
Uncalibrated
This has
nanoroutines
gotta be-
detected. Alien tissue vector.
All right.
21%.
Look, that suit you're
I
wearing,
was only a vice president.
it's built out of a self-repairing, semi-organic nano-weed patented by the Hargreave Rash Corporation. Yeah, that Hargreave. He designed the stuff. Prophet was Spec Ops. Hargreave recruited him to wear the suit, but he went AWOL. Came back talking some semi-sane shit, and then... See that? That's a viral subroutine running in the suit's deep layers. It's like living code, and it's... I don't know, it's like it's rewriting itself to accommodate something new. A fresh data pile, maybe. My best guess? What you're looking at there is the biocoding for some kind of vaccine against the spore. We have to get that stuff decoded. And I can't do that here. I just don't have the processing power. I need to... God damn it. The only place in New York that stuff exists is in Hargreaves' lab on Roosevelt Island. The Prism. And that's miles uptown. It'd be suicide trying to get there right now with the Seven. Shit! They're here! Shit! Shit! I'm sealing the doors. Get out there and hold them off.
Possible enemy contact. All clear over here.
Welcome to I'm a sleeper. You a sleeper.
Need backup. Get up.
I get your Just everything's in system. Oh yeah. Cheerily, aren't you just a typical bug dear? Let's not have it. Listen, she says. And this must be true. Patricia.
And she's doing great.
Find him. We've got visuals.
It's to the States, and it's got everything an American family could ever need. And may I present...
I'm getting super sick of it. I'm sure these courses. Very excited.
Also, this controls the security system.
Listen, Alcatraz. address. I ran a spike into cell comms back there. Looks like they were going to take you to a command post at Wall Street. I know the place. It's a safe bet they've got a nanosuit cradle there with deep scan capacity. We've got to take a look at the deep layers of your suit. The place will be sewn up tight, but there's an emergency evac tunnel built under the street. Get to the Wall Street Church. That's where the tunnel comes up. Stick to the rooftops. It'll be safer. I'm taking another route. I'll meet you there. Seeing a lot of cell activity on the streets around the command post. Looks like the Ceph have got them spooked. Keep heading for the church. I'll see if I can help you bypass security.
You are not gonna fucking believe what I gotta tell you now. That hot shit combat takes.
It was founded by George Washington and Martin Luther King. Stepped up his movements free sex, crime, poverty, and oppression. What's that? Up on the hill. That's our separate episode. Oh, I'm one of you guys who didn't dare to stay out of our hair. Right the way you go to the Simply Stepford Day Club.
Oversight, this is Emerald 1. We've got multiple Ceph runners approaching Checkpoint Delta. Requesting backup. Copy that. Hold firm. Emerald 3 is inbound.
I would like to warmly welcome our newest Christian staff. Jimmy, good morning, children. Are we ready to work out? Is this anything? Right, you don't have to just like this. But everyone too is obviously going to prepare for death. Good morning, right? They are taking songs and warm thought, everyone's weapons with straight ahead. Sweet. Now, today you are in for a special treat because we are working on a series of exercises which I'm personally using based on simple functional techniques. I call my program. Alright, now it's time to clear the active truck. That's all. Wash your shoes.
You'll never make it to that checkpoint. You have to find a way around like the streets are sealed up pretty tight. See if you can get through one of the buildings.
questions, huh? Make it this.
Which is why we can say that is easily looking dog. Kid, I'm really sorry about all this. Mom, it's okay. Chill.
Go ahead, have fun. Minutes.
Did we just don't get these women like deranged flight attendants and they're gonna be all over you. Here we go. I won't.
Buddy, you look great. There you go. Little experiment.
Now I know what's up. They land on each other. Me. Excuse me, ladies. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm the only one who has all this movie history. We are celebrating our nation's birthday, but there are almost no African Americans, no Native Americans, no Asian Americans, and you're a joke, and it never hard to everyone. Aren't you gonna be hard? Could we stand up people? Could we like, it's fine. What was it called? This type of relationship with your life. I love you, face up. Hey, hey, hey. Excuse me, this is my father.
Yes, he's my husband.
Hey, how do you know each other?
Make the place. Miss Bradley.
No, I finished the chapter.
Do you make sandwiches here? Kids.
What kids?
Our kids.
Hey, are you two a
They're
great?
fine. I didn't cook. So you need Jerry's base sandwich. Just like some super heavy. I love medicine, soya, and homemades. Oat milk. No, slow it.
That is not cobbler.
We really need to come on. Please, how do you ladies look ridiculous? Is there just you had on the vomit somewhere that worked?
Shit! It's all changed. The place is crawling with cell uniforms. They've got some kind of executive lockdown going on. Look, I'll need some help getting past security. I need you to create a diversion in the church. Draw troops away from Wall Street. Then you can slip through the emergency access tunnel. Meet me at the other end.
Where'd you come from? I mean, right here in Stanford.
Emerald 3. Copy. Emerald 3. Dropping gun through. Look out, half my men on the way in. Headed your way. Somebody kill that son of a bitch.
Roger that. Be ready for him. No way he's getting through us.
gunfire. Possible contact.
For all
Keep the
citizens,
pressure on!
this is a maximum security area.
Keep looking. Search the area.
Unauthorized entry will be met with lethal force. Report immediately to the authorized site operator.
It should be okay. She might not. She'll be fine. Too much sun. She can be hyper. So I have to be I don't know. Sorry about that. Joanna? This is a very special food. I'd like you to my husband. Oh, I must be thanks, Joanna. You make them pretty. They don't even look great. We don't need to she needs us.
Charge up!
Woman, be here. He said, this guy, he just wanted some food, just like Mike said. She was fighting all the time. She was dancing. Then why wasn't there a doctor anywhere? And why?
Sumo! Ah!
Yes, Joanna. You don't follow. Your kids family, marriage is not it makes people want to kill you. It makes people try to kill you. That's what we're killing you. The people who are nothing but friendly and welcoming and wonderful to you. But you can nothing but snide and suspicious. And on top of that, the thing that you humiliated me, well, I can't do it anymore. I can't keep fighting you for every inch of everything. Game over. It's over. Cannot be dictated.
Come on! Ah! Stop on! Sumo! Sumo, look at that!
What the hell was that?
All Wall Street sections, we have an explosion at the church. Sector Delta, send backup now! Copy that. Backup is on route.
Hindi siya Alin ka na dito! Kiss! Sumo, kiss! Sumo, kiss! Ah! Hindi ka na dito! Matutulog na tayo!
Clear, no targets.
That's what I need. Like
Gunfire. Possible contact. Keep the pressure on! Target's gone! Lost him.
Halika na, baby! Halika na! Kulit! Mr. Kulit! Si Sumo, nagpapumat pa siya para umakit ng kaama. Halika na dito! Sumo, halika na dito! Ayan, babe, nagpadali siya sa akin!
We have an explosion at the church! Sector Delta! Send
Baby Sumo. Ay!
country person or black. Your bitches wear black. You want me?
We're really okay.
You look kind of my way, Rock.
I know. Thank you. I made an effort to change. That's why my husband is such a person. Strong, forceful.
Take him down!
I can remember it.
Nobody said it was easy. Nobody that is there, Mom. It's the toughest job in the world, right? For my baby.
It's definitely yesterday before leaving to see the thunder.
What did she find?
What's this?
The shoot that you should go to parts.
All about confirmed. Copy. Report back.
Security guys everywhere.
Area's clear.
I mean, if you're in New York, why your name's what would you do? Record. So they're gonna go out.
All clear. Visual.
Attention. You are in breach of a maximum security area. You will be met with lethal force. Surrender immediately to an authorized cell operative.
Under fire! Damn it! Man down! Requesting fire support!
Why does he say that?
Need backup! Get over here! Got a visual! Down there!
Oversight, this is Emerald 8. We have a secondary explosion at the church. Requesting immediate assistance.
Roger that. Deploying reinforcements. Hold tight.
All right, it's working, but they're gonna be heading your way.
Excuse me, I've been busy. Let me look. Can't you hire someone to clean? Right? Days like I do it myself. Right there in front of the old. They burn through the window and swap.
A date with your husband. Well, I'm too sorry, but my shrink says I need creative space.
There, this is what you found.
He's about to say I need that electricity to just start Vegas.
You ever got Zulu?
It's the Venice. I worship Venice. Come on.
My average chaser, they're up and never out.
Buy it, I girl. Is there some?
Forward!
Sure.
Jerry, come see us. If I just couldn't take it anymore, I hurled. You become a gay Republican. And he said, what's wrong with it? He said, why would you do this? I'm black. Counselor suggested the birds. What do you mean? It isn't like so good. Or, don't know.
I know this is something. What you can actually learn
For all citizens,
without counsel.
this is
For
a
example,
maximum security
what
area.
if the next game is
Unauthorized
This place. It's like a dream. It's like relentless space. Oh, your lives. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're so real. Sizzle. Super fine.
Damn it!
We are off the track to be here in the book that I contact. Now, just mentioned the third one of Robert Heroes and I am dying of next job. That's all lies.
Tunnel access.
Today we're going to discuss what is
to proceed.
Okay, now's your chance. Get through the access tunnel. I'll meet you on the other side.
The Heritage Special Edition Golden Deluxe Treasury of Christmas Keepsakes and Collectibles. This book said to me, let's celebrate the day our Lord Jesus Christ with yarn. Now, we all know what's your problem. You're uncomfortable with this next book because you're scared? Jewish. Same thing. The Heritage text is very interesting. In fact, there is a whole chapter about it. I just love the chapter on pine cones. They're not just for leaves, it's everything. It's time for the story of the Bell Station. Your comfort snowman could be Jewish, just add one of those little things. Or maybe I could just use pine cones to spell out the words big Jew and letters 15 feet tall in the snow in the front yard. As a baby Jesus, and I'm going to attach a pine cone to my vibrator and go read it there. You got that?
That's right. So, Joanna and I have decided we really love each other. We really got it all out. And I think that
All right. Make your way through. I'll see you on the other side.
You think Joanna's very important? Yes, I do. Absolutely. And how long into the hearing? Yes.
Alcatraz, Nanosuit 2 had a whole suite of evolving biofeedback functions. It's the most sophisticated combat hardware around. Anyone going into the battlefield with that needs real-time logistical support, and that was my job. Set up like that, I got real close to Prophet. So I know that if he put you in that suit, he had a purpose for you.
You know what, kid?
We've got to get you into that cradle, scan the suit's deep layers, and find out just what that purpose was. Okay, your diversion worked. They're moving troops away from Wall Street. This is our chance. Now listen, I'm gonna find a way in through the lower levels. Your best bet is to, break in through the roof. But hurry, man.
Locate the levels. Deep space. Find a way into the cell facility.
Eh?
Hi, babe. Hello sa game.
Hindi naman kasama yung hindi naman kasama sa yung camera natin sa sinistream mo na.
I'm not sure. Hindi naman, babe.
Yeah, thanks, babe.
Let's go. Nothing good. It's a game.
He's breached the Wall Street perimeter. Repeat. Sector Alpha. Get everyone back here now. I see you.
Someone's out there.
This face. It's very it's true. To me, it says I can taste the air descriptor watching it. Or. Sorry.
No, Jared, gonna find Stepford is very open-minded. We want to do it when you find him or something. That's your old friend. This thing. Stepford! We lost one!
It's strange. Why not? You can tell this.
Yeah.
Walter, I think Joanna's right. I think Stepford is the answer.
She's a bird dinner.
I should belt.
Copy. Assume search pattern.
Wait, Johnson? I just had the portraits. That's what I said. Jeez.
Attention
It's okay.
Easy, go. Close.
Emerald 2, this is Azure 3. You're inbound. Sector Alpha.
Azure 3, he's on the rooftop. Light him up.
Roger that.
In all of these rooms, storage, sweaters, bodies. See that door on your left? Check it out. Oh, boy. Can't see anything, it's dark. Where's your flashlight? You're a Nancy Drew. Mystery of living crisis. Look down.
Get over here! Need some assistance!
Okay, I'm in. You better get down here fast. They're sending reinforcements from the prism. We don't have much time. Alcatraz, it looks like the place is sealed up tight. You're gonna need explosives to blast your way in. Look for a weapons cache.
Let's open the security doors.
And the researching. Leading down to what? Like I'm homeless? He loves this. Strawberry hairspray. Oh my god. Become.
The hell was that? He's in the building. Lock and load.
Access the security terminal.
This is it. Now look, don't shoot anyone in there, all right? I'm gonna need some technical support with the new Cradle software. You ready? Let's do it. Go!
More than that. Now I know the game that's the guy that's
Don't shoot me, man. I'm nobody.
Powered up. I want to do a suit scan.
Yeah, sure.
Hell, man!
I'm on it.
Yeah, this is
Just don't.
Roger, I don't understand. You were out there, you were Roger, and now it's... Didn't you have someone else?
Give a chance.
Yes, boss, never.
Nano protocols engaged. Scanning primary.
No way, man. Ballistic trauma to heart and both lungs. Looks like the right ventricle took most of the damage there. Lungs ruptured at multiple locations, broken ribs at, well, take your pick, third, fourth, fifth. Got a flailed chest segment right there, extensive pulmonary bruising. More ballistic trauma to the sternum, the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. He's a corpse walking, Gould. Without the suit, look at that. It's like it's growing into the wounds, actually merging with the tissue.
I want you to focus on the deep layers of the suit. Right down into the substrate. There's something going on down there. It looks like some kind of added data pile.
Perfect. Smiling, and all of the men were always happy.
Right. Opening the buffer space, preparing for deep scan.
It's not the world, it's not us. And I'm picking up our kids from camp right now, and we're getting out of here. Oh, wait, now,
Alcatraz? That's your name? Alcatraz.
Scam.
Destiny's
It's already
bitch,
in
huh?
the systems.
It'll be on you.
I'm trying to.
That's transmission, man. It's sending out a fucking broadcast. Oh, shit!
What can I do?
Get this door open.
And you're right.
Nice. Got men all over the downtown looking for your ass, Tin Man. And here you are, already trussed and tied.
That I'm happy to bring.
Yeah, trust and tied enough he doesn't need to be dead. Right?
Yeah, right.
Commander Lockhart, you will stand down. Get him up.
Tara Strickland.
Nathan Gould. Always a pleasure. Keep an eye on him. If he gives you trouble, don't do too much damage. You'll need to interrogate later.
You better power him down before you let him out of that thing.
Be a pleasure. Just so you know, Prophet, you walk slow, you play nice. Gonna have this jammed in your ear the whole way out. You give me any trouble, I'm gonna take your head off. Now get up. Don't fuck with me, Prophet. Get up and walk.
What's the matter, Gould? I'd have thought you'd be happy now the great big evil conspiracy's finally here to bite you in the ass.
Jesus, Tara. If your father could see you now, working for these assholes.
Yeah, well, my father's dead. Now shut your fucking mouth.
You think you're so smart, Tara? You do realize this isn't Prophet, don't you? He's just some grunt.
Seismic ship, Hargreave reckons it's gonna be... coming down!
You heard her, bitch! Move!
Got you now, Tin Man.
Get him across to the prism! Walk him in there! He's Hargreaves' problem now!
And thank you for leaving your request on my email. I think you want the peanut butter and jelly, no crusts, a slice bar, and bananas. Then, here's a whole cereal, a soy protein shake, and 3 pieces of German chocolate layer cake from scratch. And then, you get bacon, lettuce, and tomato all over the top of this recipe. For the lounge, there's this little thing. Where's all the
systems.
Coffee? No, no coffee. Bobby, that's not the one I'm behind, alright? That's down. All of it is to keep me
Functions
your secret. Judges, Saracens, keys to run your airline. She didn't look at none of the women today, Bobby. No, Bobby. Bobby. This isn't me.
Alien target! Take it down!
Because I understand what's important to me. Makes me the best what's important to me. You're peaceful, and your family, and you're perfect home. It's almost like every family needs to know, especially you. Thank you, Mother. I'm going to help you. You need to stay away from these living. Sometimes it's so much fun. You want to rule the world. It's not energy.
Calculating escape route. Waypoint updated.
Hello. Is this the game again? Oh. Yes, this is Joanna Everhart. I'm going to speak to my children. I'm going to pick them up right now.
You said it. See the soup.
Where's Walter?
The Lingshan insertion remains nominally a U.S. covert operation. You're gonna be my eyes and ears out there, Prophet. Keep your team alive by all means. That's a loyalty I fully understand. I applaud it, in fact. But your primary function is to report back to me. If you can, bring back samples. If you can't, just come back alive and tell me what you saw. It's the day key now. Nano systems. We're on borrowed time
I got to
here,
tell the
all of
press
us.
that you had no
Time for the whole
I got to work
human
for
race
you.
to wake up.
Under you. First. You got to
Recovery. The rules of agents are isolated. These functions compared. Rerouting primary power systems.
You're the worst.
All right, I'm getting a limited
beneath your
feed from
wings,
your
your
suit, son,
support
but
system.
for now it'll have
Where's
to
that
do.
girl? We'll fight
I
Hurry
don't
down.
believe you've
Get
been
one.
introduced. Jack Hardy, at your service.
We help you. We protect you.
I don't doubt Nathan Gould will have mentioned my name, but I'm bound to assume he didn't have much good to say about me. But we have other, more pressing concerns right now. We have to get you weaponized and up to speed. So, You're currently standing not far from the diseased, bureaucratic heart of the city. And while you think airlifting all the politicians out should have a cleansing effect,
Come guys, ask.
sadly what's replaced them isn't any better.
It's really pretty simple. Come on along.
But don't take my word for anything. Why should you? Trust must be earned. Go on and see for yourself. I'll guide you as best I can. But you've got to get right down to that filthy, diseased heart. There's something down there you're going to need.
Then, the tablet. Transformation begins. First, we locate our brain. We insert 2 nanochips. Then we program it. Also, we add some secret special ingredients. To avoid any accidents, the husband is kept with distance. Safety first. Finally, we enhance to fit the ideal step-of-life specification. Voila! Civic. To the future.
Make your way through the plaza.
It's a painting again.
See, my real name isn't Mike. It's just a nickname from where I used to work. I was yes. Easy. AOL.
Is that why the women are so slow?
Jump.
This will keep you down. Women who behave like slaves. Women who are obsessed with cleaning their kitchens and doing their hair. Women who never challenge you in any way. Exist only in
You're a brilliant cook.
My children. You just took them. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I feel
And the only reason of fear, anger, and resentment is really very simple.
And here it seems the VIPs were indeed processed as befits their status.
Let me ask you something. These machines, these step-free wives, can they say
like close 58 languages?
Cleaning up. It's ingenious, isn't it? Think of the Argentine cattle crisis 2 years ago, or the British BSE outbreak in the last century. The issue was not slaughtering the animals, that was easily done. The problem was disposal. What do you do with the millions of rotting corpses? Well, there you see the answer the Ceph have evolved. They wipe us out. They break us down, they reduce the environmental impact almost to zero. Exemplary.
terminate.
Yes. You see, all part of the same biomass processing system. For what purpose? Well, that is quite the question. Repulsive, yes, but quite fascinating.
The wives and tonight is truly a highlight of our year because tonight we honor our very newest citizens of Stepford. In my opinion, they are the cream crop that we have here in the place. Stepford, the American way of life. My wonderful woman, my lovely wife, my bride, my best friend, to join me in a glorious Midsummer Night's Waltz. Darling.
It's in my hand.
Champagne. Number 1956, President, welcome.
Yes. You see, all part of the same biomass processing system. For what purpose? Well, that is quite the question. Repulsive, yes, but quite fascinating. Yes. You see, all part of the same biomass processing system. For what purpose? Well, that is quite the question. Repulsive, yes, but quite fascinating.
Manual reversal completed. Back to my posted.
Streaming here with smile in the aftershow. I can do.
She's not a robot. She never was. Do because she got a science prize. Because I'm waiting.
No, that's me.
I thought you were ready. I thought you were ready. I thought I knew you. Look at this disgrace.
Now you just you.
Who are you? Are you a person or a machine?
I'm a lady.
every inch. Wait, are we legally? Are you doing it? You think everyone be left in the world?
All of this, the wives, protected. This was all your idea.
Yes! All I wanted was a better world. A world like that was dead and everyone cherished and loved.
This is Radio Free Manhattan. Wanna know what commands up to now? Well,
But perfect.
content with flooding your city with more bugs, paid out of your tax dollars. We are now
And
getting...
all I wanted was to make you, all of you, in the perfect way.
We don't need to be perfect.
You should be able to make out some exposed elements of the alien structure from where you are now.
I was the world's foremost brain surgeon and genetic engineer.
Dumped somewhere
And had top
around
secret contracts with the Pentagon,
for
Apple, and
anything
the
resembling a tower or silo.
Until that woman that came on the phone. What? Ricky? Alone? 21 years old research assistant. It was also ugly. And early the next morning, as I gazed across the breakfast table at their lifeless bodies, I thought,
Look around you, Alcatraz. Look at this ecology. Have you ever wanted to visit an alien planet? This may be as close as you'll ever come.
but I can't help because my large. So I meant, like, yes, it was someone other men we listened to. And then I asked myself, will people never know such a robots?
You should be able to make out some exposed elements of the alien structure from where you are now. The ship, one part of the pilot shut down. They had to dock
Poor
somewhere
women were turning
around.
themselves into robots.
Look for anything resembling a tower or silo.
Why didn't you change the bed? That's me. You're insane. I'm in love with the walls of the tower.
Look at this ecology. Have you ever wanted to visit an alien planet? This may be as close as you'll ever come, if only we had more time.
The secret of the suburbs, and and Bobby, your ordeal is like to a similar.
Well, you know, I just can't hold grudge. So I've written my very first book of poetry about hope and communication and beginning of
What is it called?
wait until it's asleep and cut it off. It's a page turner. I cried.
Now, Roger, good news. You ran and won your mistakes in
Next up, the White House. Yes, this country needs highlights. Well, we're
And so, what do we gain with you? So, how's your health? Is everything just perfect?
No way. But we're doing just great. Because now I'm not sure this thing about connection. But it doesn't know.
What about all those other things? Are they still angry? Do they still want all these women to be robots?
Of course, men are pigs. They're disgusting. They're bright, repulsive little rodents.
What are trying to
They tried to re-educate them. And where are they?
Oh, they're still uncovered. On the passive.
Guys, which aisle is cooked? Okay, I was trying to eat the right kind of music and chill.
I'll have three. And I only... Early morning in April of 2012, a man was walking through the woods in coastal France. He lived nearby and he had just seen a column of smoke coming out from the trees in this area. And so he was just coming out here to make sure there was not brush fires. And so he walked through the woods. Eventually, he reached the source of the smoke. He was clearing, and right away he felt that he saw was just the remains of on fire. It was just sobering. Now there was just smoke coming off. He was about to turn around and go maybe get some water and douse it out completely. But he smelled something. It was a weird smell. Clearly it was coming from the fire. So curiously, nobody else saw it. He was began walking to the fire to see what was making the smell. As he got close enough, he realized there was something in the fire. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the Strange, Dark, and Mysterious, delivered in story format, come to the right place because that's all we do. So, if that's of interest to you, please offer to make a nice fresh burrito. But don't tell them, instead of using ground beef, you used cat. Okay, let's get into today's story. On the night of April 26, 2004, a 39-year-old bouncer named Lionel Baroness opened the door of a nightclub in Chambéry, France. Inside. In, she stopped, wait a minute, look at me, and smile at him, and thank him by name. So, Chambéry was a small city up in the Alps. And now, bouncer was a fixture in its nightlife. Pretty much everybody in town who went out to bars and clubs had either seen Lionel standing at the door outside or partying inside. He was not popular. And it was not just the locals who used this place. Lionel was also well known among the rich and famous tourists who often vacationed in Chambéry. And even sometimes he would pick up side work as a bodyguard for these rich and famous people. And for Lionel, I mean, his career as like sort of a fixture in the nightlife scene was fun, pretty glamorous at times, but it also could be dangerous.
I'm afraid there's some bad news, son. The DOD plan to bomb out the Rawson flood barrier and drown the lower city in an attempt to wipe out the south. In all probability, this insanity is going to go ahead despite my protests, and I don't want you underground when it does. You must get to the heart of the alien structure with all speed, Alcatraz, and then exit. We don't have much time.
And at first, Lionel was just really glad to see Mike. But as I got closer, Lionel realized Mike actually looked really good. And so by the time Mike actually reached Lionel said to him, like, hey, what's going on? You look pretty upset. And Mike would tell him that this man for this house. The week that told him it seemed really, really good. So, Philippe Perrier, Mike's friend, the guy
I hesitate to use cheap earthwormer analogies. God knows I'm going to start sounding like Nathan Gould if I do. But what we're dealing with here probably answers to the equivalent of an insect hive. The level of alien infestation in these tunnels is likely to be high. Fine dreams in his men. I lost contact with the
police house had been robbed the day before.
I want you out of there in 1 piece.
Lionel, the announcer, was the one who fell in. Now, Lionel immediately acted totally taken aback and began to ask Philippe, like, why in the world would he do that? But Mike, his buddy, was and he's like, like, Philippe knows we're sleeping with his wife now. And Natalie is actually the one who's blaming you for this robbery. Now, at this, Lionel went from this sort of shock and awe reaction to actually just feeling really nervous, actually beginning to sweat. Because, you know, he knew it was true. He had slept with Natalie. He met her at a club one night a couple of months ago when he picked up the coach out. But Lionel realized that he had a lot of things to watch. He actually pretty much completely forgot about the out with Natalie since it just been like a casual thing and hadn't seen her in weeks. And so he had no idea why now, suddenly, she would be accusing him of theft. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So Lionel, I mean, he was genuinely stunned. I mean, he knew what he had done. He had slept with Natalie, and that's problematic. But he told Mike very truthfully that he did not break into Philippe's house. Like, there was nothing going on between me and Natalie. That was just a fling. It was nothing. Like, I really didn't do this. But Mike, despite, you know, being friends with Lionel and knowing him quite well, did not appear to believe. He just sort of narrowed his eyes and nodded and said, okay, I'll pass that along. 3 days later, on the night of April 29th, Lionel sat in a chair in his living room in Chambéry. So he lived in a small apartment with his mother and also his nephew Julian. However, Julian was just 4 years older than him, so in many ways they were brothers. And so as soon as Lionel hung up the phone, Julian, who was sitting in the room with him on the other side of the couch watching TV, immediately asked him where he got him. Lionel got up and walked over and sat down next to Julian on the couch. And he said to him, oh, that was my friend Blank. I was calling to see how it was last night. Great. So Julian said, okay, cool. And then there was a little bit of silence. And then Lionel was like, actually, I want to tell you something. And he filled in Julian with a weird conversation he had had with Mike just a few days before, where basically Mike was saying that, you know, Lionel was being accused of robbing this rich guy's home, Philippe's home. And so Julian, when he heard this, he was sort of like, this seems like a big deal. But Lionel, despite being the one to bring it up, being the one to indicate this could be a big deal, he quickly downplayed it when he saw the reaction. It's just like, you know, it is what it is. I didn't do it. And, you know, me and Mike were back on good terms. This whole thing was just, you know, misunderstanding. Everything is back to normal. Just a weird thing that happened. And so Lionel and Julian, they shifted the conversation, chatted about whatever for the next couple of minutes. Then Lionel's phone buzzed, and at the same time, we saw there were headlights pulling up outside. Oh, Lionel told Julian to be back in a few hours, then he went out the door. 2 days later, on the evening of May 1st, 2012, Lionel's nephew, Julian, walked into the Chambéry police station. He had spent the past 2 days there worried and stressed because Lionel had not come home during what he left. He now was not answering his phone. And Lionel was never gone for this long without giving Julian or his mother a message. Julian had tried to convince himself that he was just overreacting to this whole thing and that Lionel could take care of himself. He was an adult. He was a tough adult. You know, he could handle this. However, he found out that Lionel also hadn't been for the past So Julian, after getting inside the station, walked right up to the front desk to report some vehicles. The following afternoon, so May 2nd, 2012, Captain Ferran Azaran walked into an interrogation room at the Chambéry police station. He was leading the investigation into Lionel's missing persons case. And sitting inside the interrogation room at the table was, so far, the only suspect they had in this case.
Well, that explains why they're talking
down on the night.
I had hoped.
So it had only been
Well,
a
never
few
mind.
days since
Casualties of
anyone
war, I
had seen
suppose.
him. But
We all
Mazaron was
make
already sure that
sacrifices.
there was about
See if you can find their scanning gear. Might give us a little advance warning on what we're heading into.
Julian tells him and said the exact same thing and reported the missing. He also was the one who told me that the last person we know was with was
Aside
Mike.
from Tara Strickland, he was the best I had.
Also, they found out
From the look of the feed I'm getting from you,
his house. So
the storm
was
is
really eager
running
to
to
get
near
in
dormant
there
levels.
and hear what Mike had to say. So into the room right, he sat down across from Mike, who seemed calm but also definitely curious. Wasn't sure even why he was there. And when Mazaron started in, I asked him about the robbery that supposedly Leonel was involved in. Mike just nodded and explained that break-in had happened about a week earlier, home of his good friend, Philippe Terrier. And when Mazaron heard that name, he sort of raised an eyebrow. Because, like basically everybody else in Chambéry, Mazaron knew who Terrier was. Surprised that someone so ancient, so powerful, would be running in the same circles as, sort of traditional working class men like Mike. Now, however, before he could dive in, he asked some basic follow-up questions about how he knows areas. Mike went on to say that he ran an electrician business. He had a warehouse that was right next to Philippe's winery. They saw each other all the time. And he said that Philippe knew Mike was friends with Leonel, and so after this break-in and robbery happened, he had asked Mike to talk to Leonel about it because he was suspicious that he had done it. But Mike said when he actually confronted Leonel just a few days ago, brought up the break-in, that Leonel had sworn he didn't know anything about it. He did pass that on to Philippe. As far as he knew, that had been the end of it. He was not going to continue to assume Leonel had anything to do with it.
Excellent.
Now, Mike was being
Now,
so earnest.
we need to get you inside the central structure.
There's a good chance he was simply telling
Looking at the schematics Reeves and his team managed to transmit, I suggest you try to blast loose one of the spoke shields and use the resulting rupture to effect entry.
Mike's hold of
Look for any weakness in the structure.
shift the seat and look down at the table instead of Mike on then he just said that he would
like some vast column.
He did say at a certain point he had all
doubt
now
these creatures evolved in an ocean.
but they never actually went up to see each other. Now, at this point, Mazaron is pretty confident. Not just because of Mike's very obvious change in body language, but he knows that he had sworn he had seen Mike's car outside the building on that night. Mike is saying now, it was possible that Julian had been mistaken, but Mike was lying to the police about having met Leonel on the night he was here. Well, that made Mike seem very, very suspicious. And so, Mazaron just put Mike on the spot and said, okay, give me the girlfriend's name and contact information so I can get her out. So he did. And then, Mazaron stopped. Left the interrogation room and he showed. On the evening of May 2nd, 2012, so just a few hours after questioning Mike Booth about Leonel's disappearance, Captain Mazaron drove up to a big house in a quiet suburb just outside of Chambéry, France. Now, by this point, he had already spoken to Mike's girlfriend, who had confirmed what Mazaron was already thinking, which was, Mike was lying about spending the whole night of Leonel's disappearance at home with her. In fact, she said that Mike hadn't been home at home. She said she had been at home by herself all night. She had watched a movie, and then at some point she fell asleep at midnight. And at that point, when she fell asleep, Mike still was not back home. So, right now, Mike was not only their sole suspect, but he was also their best suspect. Mazaron knew that a few days before Leonel's disappearance, Mike had confronted Leonel about this supposed robbery at Philippe Terrier's house. So now Mazaron was at Philippe's house to see what he had said about the whole situation. And so Mazaron pulled his car up in front of the house, parked out, walked up to the front door, and came right toward him. But later, Philippe himself. And he seemed genuinely surprised to see Mazaron standing there.
And so he quickly asked Mazaron if he was here to follow up on the robbery investigation. Mazaron said, sort of. Mazaron said, for now, he just wanted to know if he could come inside and they were checked. And for a moment, it seemed, at least to Mazaron, that Philippe sort of hesitated. He didn't necessarily do that. But then he sort of relaxed and nodded and said, sure. And he went inside. So Mazaron stepped inside into the house, was very furnished, and was led to the living room. Mazaron took a seat, and
that seems
sat down as well. He asked Philippe to walk him
but you'll need to repeat the procedure with the others.
Philippe explained that
should bring the whole system into full breath.
When she'd come into the living room, she saw one of the windows in the shadow. Then Mazaron said that, after seeing this, they searched the house, and eventually went downstairs to the basement where their safe was. And they found their safe had been broken into as well, and a lot of cash that had been there was gone. Philippe said he had called the police about it, and they'd come out to investigate it. But so far, he hadn't heard anything. And so Mazaron, after hearing this, asked Philippe if he thought he knew who was responsible. And Philippe immediately nodded and said yes. Then he repeated what Philippe said. It was Lionel Veronese. The reason he knew that was Lionel was having an affair with his wife Natalie, and Natalie said it was Lionel. Mazaron worked really hard at Philippe, because this was huge. If Philippe knew that Lionel was having an affair with his wife, that gave him, Philippe, plenty of motive to want Lionel dead. As of right now, Lionel was gone and no one knew what happened to him, so maybe he was murdered. And so, operating on hunch, Mazaron followed up by asking Philippe if he had any weapons in the house. And to his surprise, Philippe said yes. And so Mazaron asked if he could see them. Led him over to the stairs that went down to the basement. When they got down there was this huge gun safe, huge plastic firearm just stacked around. So Philippe, they're going to come down. He's going to step out of the way so that Mazaron can look around. Almost as soon as he did begin walking around with Mazaron, began opening up his cases, he discovered that one of those cases, which had space for 2 weapons in it, was empty. And so Mazaron asked Philippe, hey, where are the 2 guns that go in this case? Philippe said, actually, those were stolen from the robber. However, after hearing this, and as Mazaron is staring at this empty gun case, something just was not happening. Philippe clearly had a motive to want to hurt Lionel, because he had an affair with his wife. And he happened to have 2 missing guns. Now, of course, at this point, Mazaron did not know if Lionel was definitely dead, and therefore couldn't know if he had been shot or not. Still, this was really suspicious. But at the same time, Philippe was from this very wealthy and highly respected family. He didn't really seem like the kind of person who would go around murdering or kidnapping people for revenge. And if he had, let's say, done something bad to Lionel, it was just odd that he would just so readily admit to clearly having a motive to harm Lionel, and to show the detective a basement full of weapons, including a gun case that was missing weapons. And so, basically, until Mazaron was able to figure out what actually happened to Lionel, until that time, he would have a really hard time proving that Philippe had anything to do with it. The next morning, Captain Mazaron was in his office at the police station, going over the notes from his interview with Philippe to see if there was anything he missed. At this point, Mazaron's theory was that either Mike or Philippe, maybe even both of them, had gone to confront Lionel about the affair and the robbery, and then things had turned violent. But just then, there was a knock on his door. Mazaron turned, he saw his door was open, and there was this woman standing there, and her face was stained with tears. When she walked into the room, she sort of was heavy and stiff. She was taking on drugs and being drunk, getting medication, and she sort of stumbled into the room and then introduced herself as Lily. Yeah. So Mazaron had actually earlier called on him in and speak to him, both to verify the story of what happened, the robbery, the affair, and also to see what else she might know about that. And also, since she clearly was involved in this whole potential love triangle, he had to also consider her as a potential suspect in whatever happened to her now. So he gestured for Natalie to take a seat. She had asked her to tell him all about how she lived. Natalie, at this point, really clearly
You're having the
not
desired
to keep
effect,
herself
but you have to hurry. Those fools at the
apologizing and
Pentagon are getting
explaining that
ready
she was
to
on
act.
prescription medication. It'd be hard for her to keep a grip on her emotions. This whole situation really happened to her. But eventually, having this sort of set up how sorry she is, how mess she is, she eventually tells Mazaron that she had met Lionel nightclub. That yes, they had hooked up a few times, but since the last time they had seen each other, it had been quite a while. It was nothing. When Mazaron asked her about the robbery, she said that Lionel had told her about having serious gambling debts from playing poker. And so because of that, he had just sort of naturally suspected that he must have robbed her. She also added that, just to be clear, her and Philippe were both at their home all night on the evening that Lionel disappeared. And that if Philippe had gone to confront Lionel at any point, he did not know anything about it. And so at this point, Mazaron sat back in his chair just to consider what he was seeing and what he was hearing. Natalie seemed genuinely devastated by this whole situation. To Mazaron, it seemed like she was believable. She was coming in here telling the truth. And so he really doubted that she directly had anything to do with Lionel's disappearance. However, while Natalie's emotional state certainly made her seem less likely as a suspect, Mazaron wondered if her tears were a clue. By her own account, she'd only had a fleeting relationship with Lionel, not some really passionate relationship or something. So maybe the reason she's this upset is because she actually knows that her husband was involved in what happened to him. A few days later, Mazaron walked through a wooded rural area near the coast, 220 miles away from shore. An officer of the safety was walking the steps. This officer had called Mazaron yesterday to tell him that a body had been discovered in these woods just after dawn on April 30th. It was less than 10 hours after Lionel was last seen by his family. And after running upon his fingerprints to the database, they identified the victim. It was. And Mazaron was baffled by this. Marseille was more than a 4-hour drive from Chambéry. But as far as Mazaron knew, Lionel didn't know anybody in Marseille, did not go there with any regularity. And there was just plenty of other wooded areas closer to Chambéry. So why drive all the way out here? It just didn't really make any sense. And so Mazaron continued following this officer. At some point, they stepped into a small clearing, and Mazaron saw there was a pile of logs and branches sort of lying in the grass right in the middle, and the officer said that this was the spot where Lionel was found. The officer pulled out a folder that had photos of Lionel's body. So Mazaron would be brought here just to see exactly where they had it. And so Mazaron looked down at the photo. What he saw was, in this spot that he was standing near, there was this smoldering bonfire. It was clearly out, but there was still smoke on top of it. And then in the middle of all these logs was clearly a charcoal. The officer that brought it here explained that medical examiner found the gun shot back over his head. So it did appear that he was actually killed before he was set on. So as Mazaron was taking all this information in, everything was starting to make sense. So this was exactly how trafficking
parang di naman
This could have been gang execution. None of Lionel's family or friends ever mentioned that he was involved with a gang in any way. Mazaron knew that Lionel worked in nightclubs, had a history of breaking up fights. It's possible that he might have crossed paths with the wrong person. Also, there was the fact that apparently Lionel had these huge debts from gambling. There's just sort of a seedy underworld that potentially he was around that could have led to illness. Also, if this was calculated, it would sort of explain why he's all the way out here in Marseille. Because Marseille was a city that historically had a lot of issues with trafficking. So Mazaron realized he could have been wrong about this case basically from the start. Maybe identity actually had nothing to do with it at all. Around 10 p.m. on May 5th, 2012, about 100 miles from this popular BNL's body was found. Captain Brett Masseron pulled into the parking lot of the gas station. Out, inside, the clerk began to look at the security camera footage. So during the 4-hour drive from Marseille back to Chambéry, so that means Iran and the scene where BNL had found during that night call, he'd been going back and forth between his first two suspects, finding the lead.
Good. Now let's see what the suit will do.
And so he wasn't really sure how he was going to navigate to here with running these two sort of simultaneous investigations.
Recognition.
As he's driving, communication on his way back home, he realizes there might actually be a way to prove whether or not either Michael or Philippe is tempted. There were only 2 roads that connected Chambéry to Marseille. And so BNL's killers must have driven down one of them at some point during the night of April 29th. So Mazarin had been checking the cameras at every toll booth and every gas station that he passed on his drive to see if any of them had captured a glimpse of him. Now, so far, he'd just been disappointed.
Oh my goodness.
Cameras were footage had already been erased over. And so now, as he followed this clerk into the back room and was shown to the computer to go ahead with footage, as Ron was expecting, this stop
good.
Same as all the
Now let's see what the suit will do.
However, as soon as they fired up the computer, right away, Mazarin saw that they did have footage. And footage did cover the time period he was looking.
Recognition.
However, when he began scanning footage around the date of April 29th, April 30th, the first nothing stood. However, when he reached the early hours of April 30th, where he would normally stop and say, okay, I didn't see anything, it is what it is. For whatever reason, he decided to just keep on scanning footage, just keep on watching more of April 30th. And eventually, he did see something of interest. At 5:43 a.m., April 30th,
more
a black Volkswagen vehicle pulls in frame. It actually parks near the gas station.
Excuse me, please.
And this car, its license plate ended in 73, which meant this car was registered in Chambéry. He's watching this car, it comes into the lot, parks, the driver gets out. Right away, Mazarin pauses the video and he zooms in on the driver's face. The video was just
Alcatraz, listen to me very carefully. The decision is made. The bombers are in the air. Get out of there. I've dispatched a helicopter to pick you up, but you'll have to move quickly. Get to higher ground. Hurry!
Based on that video, forensic evidence, and interviews with witnesses, this is what police believe happened to BNL Veronese in April 29th.
That's it. The barrier is down.
Around
Run, Alcatraz. You've got to get out alive. You and that suit are our only hope.
The gun rested on the seat next to him. The killer told the driver that they were not planning to use the gun. It was just there for intimidation. However, the killer's emotions really went on. They honestly weren't even sure what they were going to do when they saw it. So the car kept on driving along until eventually it came to a stop outside of the apartment. A few seconds later, the passenger side front door opened up. BNL climbed inside. As the driver put the car back in gear and started driving down the road, the killer, in that seat, confronted BNL about something that had really been bothering him and gradually turned into a very heated argument. Then, at some point, the killer raised that gun they weren't going to use, aimed at the back of BNL's head, and fired. The driver immediately whipped around and looked at the killer and just stared at him. They seemed completely shocked by this crazy sudden escalation. They didn't stop driving. Instead, they stepped on the gas, sped down the road until they reached the house. The killer and the driver both went inside of that house, and they formulated a plan for what would happen next. So the plan was the driver, along with another accomplice,
must be somewhere around here.
Drive down to Marseille, flying a secret spot, woods that
and if he didn't drown in the way, you fucking spot.
Can you believe that shit? Then back, the plan was to toss the evidence.
There! Over there!
One would actually pull the trigger. They were going to stay and have this episode covered. The driver and the other accomplice agreed that the killer had already caused enough trouble. So the killer just Went upstairs.
It's Chino, man. Remember me?
They watched the window. Well, their two got and
What the hell happened to
the
you?
killer was Philippe's wife, Natalie Marianne, woman Lionel Farrell. To Lionel, their affair had been meaningless, just another fling. Natalie,
Nice suit, man.
she'd gotten
Back
bored of
Fifth Avenue.
quiet life as
You
a
be shopping
luxurious
without me?
housewife in the suburbs. And she quickly fallen in love with Lionel and the seemingly very exciting life that he lived. And so when Lionel stopped paying attention to her, she got smacked.
Get to it. We've got to move someplace more secure. We're sitting ducks here.
Yeah, no shit, man. So that she could confront him. It's after Lionel got in the car, emotions got the best of her. She shot and killed him. This was definitely not the plan that Mike had agreed to. When he and her had discussed what was going to happen, it didn't include murdering Lionel. But after the murder, Mike didn't say, I'm going to go to the police.
Get yourself some firepower.
He and
You're
Natalie
gonna need it.
went to her husband, Philippe, for help. And Philippe agreed to dispose of Lionel's body and cover up the crime. On security footage from the gas station, what Mazeron saw in the passenger seat of that black Volkswagen was Philippe. He was sitting there, right at the passenger seat. And it would turn out the driver.
Delta 3, copy.
Natalie was ultimately convicted
Read
of
you,
Lionel's
sir.
murder and
We got
sentenced
squid
to 20
incoming from
years
all
in prison.
sides.
Mike
Gotta
was
get
sentenced
someplace
to
more
6
secure.
years for kidnapping.
Find that suit guy?
Yeah, we got it. Sentenced to 3 years for helping get rid of humans.
All right, but make it fast. We're outnumbered here.
Also, as with the robbery that played seemingly a central role in the story at the beginning, we actually don't know if the robbery had occurred or if it simply came down.
Squid! 12 o'clock! Contact!
Hang in there, Delta. We're coming for you. Come on, move!
Quick note about our stories, they are all based on true events, but sometimes pseudonyms that could be involved, and some details fictionalized or dramatized. The Mystical Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories, is hosted and executive produced by me, Well, our head of writing is produced by Jeremy Bowen and Cole Casio. This episode was written by Kate Gallagher. Research and fact-checking by Shelley Shipp, Samantha Van Goose, Beamer, Abigail Shipway, Neil Callahan, Alex Ball, and Bastian. Research and fact-checking supervision by Stephen E. Audio editing and post-produced by Whit Casio and Jordan Smith. Production support by Antonio Nada and Delaney Porter. Artwork by Jessica Clarkson-Kiner. Theme song, Something Wicked, by Ross Evans. Thank you for listening to the Mr. Ballin Podcast. And just a reminder, every new and exclusive episode we put out on the Mr. Ballin Podcast, you can also now watch on the Mr. Ballin YouTube channel that very same day. Trust me, some of these stories you truly have to see to believe. And my YouTube channel is just called Mr. Ballin. If you want to listen to episodes 1 week early and ad-free, you can subscribe to SiriusXM Podcast Plus on Apple Podcasts or visit SiriusXM.com/Podcast Plus to listen to Spotify or whatever app you choose. So, let's do it. Really appreciate your support. Until next time, see you.
Squid!
Today, I'm going to share 3 stories all about people who went to great lengths to make themselves good. In which cases, you see, it completely we'll get into today's stories. If you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious, and the story from that, to the right place, because that's all we do. And we upload 2, 3, 4 times a week. So, if that's of interest to you, the next time to follow us, right and see. Make sure you tell them the ending of that movie right as they're sitting there watching. Okay, let's get into the first story called 20. One afternoon, a 26-year-old man named Julio Romain poured car to the city to go through to meet Julio's friends, smiling. introducing Nathan too. Girlfriend, but will never actually. And this, in and of itself, is actually. Because again, it's Julio's best friends, and Julio and Anita actually been together for a while. But Julio has always been hesitant to introduce her to his friends. You know, Juanita was just a little bit different. You know, she was flawed. And he knew that his friends might, you know, pick up on that. And that ended up, he's worried that weirdness amongst the friends if they didn't chance to interact with his girlfriend. So he just kind of kept his seat. But his friends knew he was dating Anita, just really wanted to be her, and so kept pressuring him. Finally, he's like, you know what? Let's go to the park. Meet up, I'm cheerleader. And in order to ensure that this meeting would go as well as it could, Julio also brought along with him to the park and this big red tube. Inside of it was all this some bases they drink all around the park. And for what it's worth, you're not allowed to drink in public.
Alcatraz, come on, man! You gotta get off the street! Alright, regroup and reload! We're gonna hold this position and await reinforcements!
It felt like those workers were out there, drinks and friends with me. Anytime they would all be free. Eventually, Julio and Juanita reached the end of the park. And Julio could see his two friends waiting by this concrete wall. So most of Luna was covered in all these rooms because there was this ancient civilization called Incas that lived there hundreds of years ago. And so this concrete wall that this friends were sitting on was quite literally like an artifact built into the past. But it's sort of so commonplace in this area, people didn't even notice it. It was just sort of part of the landscape. So Anita and Julio's big red cooler full of rum, they lumbered their way through the park, watching different movements that been shouting out all the way over to the wall where his friends were. They actually hadn't seen him approaching, so it was only when they kind of just standing right in front of him. Friends looked and saw Julio, saw Anita. Julio right away sort of trying to gauge their reaction to Anita and the situation, but pretty quickly his friends were, it was pretty cool. They were interested in what they quickly wanted to learn more about Anita, and it was just like kind of easy. And Julio, he opened up the cooler right away, the cup sounds full of rum and soda, and all the friends are drinking, they're having a good time. Julio's like, I was worried about that. My friends, they didn't want Anita. She's great. Yeah, she's different, but they think she's great. This is a good guy. And also definitely honest. So for a while, before they were just sitting around, just talking about the wall and
Secure this place. Alcatraz. Listen, man. The rally point's about 6 blocks up that way. You go on ahead. Reroute and people up there. Keep it tight, man.
They're out here drinking publicly. They hold the trunk, they hold the rowdy.
Push ahead, Alcatraz. We'll hold here.
At least 18. Decency, perhaps. Yeah, the two friends are living. Julio turns around and stops. Yeah, here come the police. 2 officers coming over and gets up. Clearly see that here for public game. So the officers looking over and friends and upstanding on Julio just sort of trying to speed here trouble. The officers over. And they see the cops. They can clearly tell this was right. But when they looked into that red pool,
if it's at all possible, sir, do you think you could keep my billion-dollar suit out of the line of fire for a while? It'd really be better for all concerned if you reached us in one piece. I'm doing what I can to provide you with cover, but please try to exercise some caution. At the risk of sounding melodramatic, watch the sky.
Because when the police arrived on the scene, looked at the wheels red were expecting police. Because they're like the first place. They did see him. They also saw Julio. So Julio was right on the edge of how to see his his girlfriend seemed but she was so different if it's concerned. And she was very different sort of rich girlfriend. Because Juanita was actually an 800-year-old mummified man from a pre-Hispanic era, a period when the Incan civilization ruled the area. Julio's father had acquired Juanita of this company decades ago. So Juanita had actually been a fixture of Julio's life since he was born. Now, Julio's best friend, through all of his friends, knew that Julio's family had this money. But they didn't take it seriously when Julio referred to the mummy as his girlfriend. Again, this is a 800-year-old mummified man who calls his girlfriend. They thought it was a joke. But, when it seemed like it wasn't a joke, when it seemed like Julio apparently had a real relationship with this mummy, the friends begged him to bring Juanita out. They wanted to see this amazing artifact. But they didn't realize that request finally pushed Julio to come out to this park with Juanita in his cooler. That's how he transported her. That would destroy their friends' actual love life. Because Julio was not good. He called Juanita his girlfriend. He had very real, very deep feelings for this mummy. He even convinced himself that she was like an active participant in their relationship. It sort of kept him in line, according to him. He said that Juanita would hold his hand, would poke his feet, and look misbehaved. And so, when those two officers in the park came over to Julio's friends and looked at the cooler, they saw Juanita, this mummy, partially inside of his cooler, away from. And so, right off the bat, Julio and his friends, they're getting in trouble for alcohol. But also, Julio was arrested and charged with possession of a historical item. But as of 2023, Julio did not update this. As for Juanita and the actual mummy, it was confiscated by the Ministry of Culture for research purposes. That means very likely that she and Julio will be separated forever. The story is called Unit 85. One afternoon in 1984, a man named Dimitri carried a cardboard box away from this high-rise apartment building in the city of Kamatorsk.
Oh no.
This building was brand new. It's one of a bunch of developments that were built right before the Boston Olympics, just 4 years earlier in 1980. Bush to show the world that the Soviet Union was a very successful and prosperous place. So very much by design, everything they had built was very shiny, very modern and impressive. This apartment building, pretty much everybody in the area really desperate to get one of these new apartments. And Dimitri fucked out. So a few weeks ago, Dimitri had been notified that one of the units had suddenly opened up, and he jumped at the opportunity. He and his family never lived in a place this nice before. There were brand new appliances, the building had thick concrete walls with great soundproofing, so they didn't have to neighbors chat or watch TV like they had
keep my $1 billion suit out of the line of fire for a while.
So today,
It'd really be better for all concerned if you reached us in one piece. I'm doing what I can to provide you with cover, but please try to exercise some caution. At the risk of sounding melodramatic,
basically everything else,
the sky.
Dimitri was bringing up one of the very last boxes. But as he headed down the hallway toward his apartment, Unit 85, he saw a neighbor open up the door right ahead. The neighbor looked out at him, and as Dimitri got closer to this neighbor, he noticed that this woman looked incredibly sad, just kind of tired, light, like that. She was also really pale and very thin and gaunt, and she had bags under her eyes. She was watching Dimitri with this strange expression on her face. So, pity for Dimitri. And Dimitri, despite this initial reaction to which he doesn't know her, this is his neighbor. Also, he was about to stop and introduce himself. But right as he was about to, she suddenly went back inside of her unit and closed the door. The whole thing was just very weird. Dimitri, after the door had shut, he just stood there for a second, wondering if he should knock. He wondered if there was some big problem. Was she okay? But in general, Dimitri was naturally quiet and supportive guy, and he very much preferred to mind his own business about each other. So he decided to just people home alone, which was very clearly what she wanted anyways. She's the one who shut the door and disappeared on her. So, after a minute, he just walked the rest of the way down the hallway, was inside of his unit, carried his cardboard box that had been plugged up to the bedroom that the CH Sons would share. And when he got in there, he saw his boys were standing up on the mattresses, trying to hang a decorative rug on the wall of the beds to freshen up. And Dimitri, he was glad to see that. It seemed like his sons were, leaning in to take this space to run. So Dimitri, set a box down and opened up the room. All their stuff there, and he's already starting to feel like home. Sure that, despite the weirdness of his name, that this has got to be the beginning. Really just amazing, new, exciting time for me. But Dimitri quickly realized that not everything in this game was as amazing as he thought it was. He already had that confidence with his neighbor. Turned out this just was a case. Even though, his apartment and this whole building was undeniably nice, beautiful, and modern. Basically, their neighbors were not nice. It was not just that one woman who appeared to be quite rude and unstable. It was like every single person Dimitri went into this entire complex was quiet, and sullen, and grumpy, and definitely not interested in talking to me. And then, more than that, you have all these people that clearly didn't want anything to do with Dimitri. They had really different things to explain. The entire place was just this. It was a soundproofing story, no doubt. Every time you walk down the hallway, it's like, nobody's making any noise, anything other than this. It's this weird vibe that's sort of hung over this whole place. A sense of gloom and doom sort of persisted everywhere. Dimitri just couldn't explain it. Of all places to have that feeling was so present. Why here? This is a nice place. But Dimitri was able to leave a snuck out to sit in his apartment. And despite how weird this world is described to you, pretty much the whole time there, Dimitri is namely they tried to make the best of it. But a couple of years after they moved into the
if it's at all possible, son, do you think you could keep my $1 billion suit out of the line of fire for a while? It'd really be better for all concerned if you reached us in one piece. I'm doing what I can to provide you with cover, but please try to exercise some caution. At the risk of sounding melodramatic, watch the sky.
Fortunately, her son came this was obviously a total shock to Fatal. Because he was so kind of talking about it. Sleep, right? To find out it was something so serious and they didn't even know it was a thing. On top of that, Dimitri's son, who had leukemia, he was dead. After both kids, this just felt like he had now, he had to undergo cancer treatment. Spent most of his time staying in bed. Despite all those things, just continued to close. A few months after Pete was representing, Dimitri was inside an exam room at the doctor's office with his younger son. His pulses. He had a lot of the same symptoms as his brother. Dimitri had taken the blood test right away, fearing. So now they were waiting for the doctor after his blood test results in 7 days. When the doctor did finally go back to the work, tell space where they were going to send it. As the doctor sat down and said Dimitri's son did also. Dimitri was shattered. His weight was complete. He asked the doctor, how is it possible that both of my children could develop the same type of cancer in the same year? He said, okay, visiting this was hereditary. Whole family genetic predisposition to that afternoon, Dimitri brought his son home with his wife and his son. Dimitri just couldn't pump the feeling. This was all his fault. They asked him if he had genes in his kids. So once, everybody could process the news, his son was looking Dimitri just didn't know what to do with himself. He just decided to walk forward. So he did that. Now, it didn't still so much issues and lots of passive foods. But then he got back to the building.
If it's at all possible, son, do you think you could keep my billion-dollar suit out of the line of fire for a while? It'd really be better for all concerned if you reached us in one piece. I'm doing what I can to provide you with cover, but please try to exercise some caution. At the risk of sounding melodramatic, watch the sky.
Certainly tonight was not the moment he was going to go. He talked to him. But, very much to his surprise, as Dimitri walked right past her and walked up the steps to the side building, she actually turned and looked at him, just past him, was in her bed. And Dimitri was so caught over by this that he found himself just suddenly very emotional and sort of blurting out everything about his son's illnesses and how this was so. And as his neighbor listened to him, she didn't seem surprised at all at the same time. He was not talking and asked a single question. She just nodded her head. It's too bad, as if she knew this was already going on. There was no way she could notice. And so when it was clear their conversation wasn't really going to go much further than Dimitri sort of vomiting out all this information and her nodding, so then Dimitri was going to go back to the building to stop him. She did ask him a question. She asked him, "Do you know anything about the tenants who lived in Portland?" He said, "No. What we do is that there's somebody over there going to left. They do the thing if you don't have the chance to move in. It's all in." So she told him that, well, actually, there was a story behind why this kid or that unit. She said previous tenants were mother to two teenage kids. They in 2 years, it's why they died when they came. They're hearing this. Dimitri couldn't help but feel like, okay, this doesn't seem like my kids got leukemia because this is hereditary. It feels like something else caused our kids to get sick that very likely is happening in my apartment. Like, how is it possible that both my kids got leukemia? Previous tenants who were in this unit also got leukemia. But there's no way. That's just coincidence. No way. So Dimitri became absolutely obsessed with this idea that he was going to get to the bottom of whatever was going on inside my apartment. So over the next year, Dimitri made multiple serious efforts to get an inspector to come out and look at the apartment, either to check for a gas leak, or some chemicals, or something in the soil. But to talk to building management, insisted that he already looked into all those things and everything was fine. Like this is just hereditary. It's just coincidental. There could be a problem. But Dimitri couldn't think, and he kept pushing past anyone just trying to help him figure out if there's some external factor that's causing his family to kill. And it all went nowhere. People just started ignoring his requests. Dimitri felt like in 1987. A few years after Dimitri and his people moved into 1985, Dimitri's older son passed away from leukemia. Dimitri's younger son continued to be sick. Meanwhile, rumor began to spread around the apartment building and also the possible area that Unit 85, the building, was cursed. 2 years later, one morning in 1980, Dimitri came home from the hospital. Said his son was being treated. Grabbed some good clothes for herself and his wife. He and his wife had been spending virtually all their time in the hospital. They were at this point just waiting for their son's conditions. So, of course, this is why they really physically all the time to do as well. So when he got back to his apartment to get off his clothes, instead of just immediately leaving and rushing out to the hospital, he was just so long. Dimitri just wandered into his son's bedroom, just took a minute for himself. Sat down, and stared at that with the rug in his hand. Since the first day he was dead, his son's up. And when he looked back at that day, he remembered how excited, how hopeful his sons had been, how he and his wife had been for their new life. This felt like such an amazing opportunity. And that day, Ruben felt like a lifetime. Ever since then, so Dimitri wondered if maybe the rumor was true. Maybe they were lying, but maybe it really was news. While he was thinking about that, something on that particular report outside. And so Dimitri, he got up and walked over to the scrub to get him a look. And at first, he couldn't even tell what he was looking at. But on closer inspection, he knew something was wrong here. It was wrong enough that he actually came out of the room, picked up the phone, called emergency services. So when Dimitri he was
All
so
units,
excited
this is
that
Charlie
he
Command. Rally point is under attack.
He never asked
We need
why the
immediate assistance.
Copy, Charlie. We are en route. Meantime, our point man is inbound. Call sign Alcatraz. He'll be with you momentarily.
He also didn't ask about why basically everybody on the premises just seemed so sad and lifeless all the time. Like everybody after them never asked him. And so ultimately, Dimitri's opinion of this place, of 85, this building, is that, you know what, there could be nothing wrong with living here. I mean, this is a modern place. Everything's so new and beautiful. Like, it has to be a safe place to live, right? But it turned out being brand new and modern was actually what made this apartment building so dangerous. When this building was constructed, the Soviet government invented such a rush to show off how wonderful, rich the country was in time for the Moscow Olympics that they made a terrible mistake. During the construction of this whole apartment building, the crew had lost very small, very important piece of equipment. It was a capsule machine that measured the density of soil, which was used in the quarry where they were pouring stone that was used to build apartments. Now, work had been paused so the crew could find this capsule. The government also didn't want there to be a big delay. They wanted to show off this amazing place in time for the Olympics. So, after a week, even though the capsule was still missing, they just called off the search, resumed construction, figuring the capsule must just be somewhere in the quarry. The capsule was not. It ended up into the stone walls. Unit 85. This was a big problem, because that capsule contained a substance called cesium-137, which is extremely toxic. So for the next 8 years, the people who lived in that apartment building, in particular, in and around Unit 85, were receiving constant radiation exposure. That's why all of Dimitri's neighbors seemed sad and pale and lethargic. It's also why Dimitri's family before him lived inside of Unit 85. That's why they got it. Dimitri discovered the awful truth in 1989. His son's bedroom was looking at the rug hanging on the wall. He noticed on the rug was there what appeared to be a burn. He looked closely and realized that the burn was coming from the wall itself. The wall was resting this. There was something in the wall causing this large to burn. And so not really having any idea what that was, but knowing that something odd has been going on here, he suspected for many years, no one's really looked. This seems really odd. I better call the authorities. Well, what he did, authorities came out, they inspected the apartment, and they come into that apartment. They find that in total, 6 people lived in this apartment building, died. 17 more were disabled because of radiation being found. However, despite that being sort of hard facts, nobody was ever held. Third and final story of today's episode is fall. On the evening of September 17, 1896, a detective named John White dug a shovel into the ground outside of a home in Evanston. So Detective White worked with the Evanston police, reporting that a home that was currently in front of him had come in to report the injured bones during this problem. So White had been sent out there to see if they were human or animal. Now White had actually already stopped by the clear to inspect
Delta Company, this is Cyclops 7. Approaching the LZ. Stand by for area evac to terminal. Let's make this quick and painless, gentlemen.
Copy, Cyclops 7. Follow our slope.
This property was only a quarter mile from the former home of the infamous serial killer named H.H. Holmes, not just 2 years earlier. And H.H. Holmes had confessed to 27 murders. It's believed that there were dozens or more.
Don't shoot! He's on our side! Hey,
So,
this way! Let's go!
It was then very likely they were connected to the sewer, and that became a huge fire for the town. At a time when he desperately needed it. It was just a week ago.
Alright, this is it! Everyone back to the LZ! Let's go! Let's go!
What is that? White.
Dropship incoming!
Face. White. Sort of like the house. These very
Take cover by
but
the
more
boat!
than a comparison, Detective White cared a lot about this information. Cared about Detective White. So he had been looking for a way to sort of get that story on his heads. And he thought, what better way to do that than to be the detective that finds these missing bones, these potentially missing bones in his victims. And so White is out here in his bigger excavation of his property, takes a shovel.
One down!
He's big. At some point, he gets some arm. When he put the shovel away, carefully brush a little dirt, whatever it did. Eventually, it was clearly bone. Before that, it was clearly human bone. It was an entire human skull. And so White was thrilled. I mean, this is like, in some ways, the best thing they could have found. This is undeniably human remains. And that was sort of what he was hoping he would find. And there also wasn't much delay or dislocation, slow or suggestive of he's not highly suggestive it's connected to H.H. Holmes within years. It's a way. Really good. He's got a big findings exactly what was happening. He knew the medical exam, obviously, from some things. It certainly seemed like he could have that. Also seemed this was going to be White's chance to really stick it to the just a week earlier.
Cyclops 7 is down. Repeat, Cyclops 7 is down.
Look what he was doing. Nobody would remember that. Terrible. Everybody would remember this. And so White stops digging, grabs the skull blanket, heads back to the police station. And when he went in there, who was already inside talking to another officer? None other than that very reporter who written that interesting article about White will be early on. So White, this is the real. This is the best case scenario. He's got the skull that's wrapped in blanket. He made a point that as he walked down the middle of the aisle, there was this big room full of open promises and desks where he made a point to really indicate that he had something important to say. Wanted to repurpose it. He really wanted to get those women's attention.
Command, this is Chino.
Walks
We're
down the
almost
aisle,
there.
he's got his
Be
skull.
advised, I'm seeing gunships headed your way.
Roger that, Chino.
And he
You
turns and
heard
he
him.
looks at White. He's
Get
like,
ready,
hey,
people.
what do you got there? And so
Alcatraz,
White
I'm afraid events are currently escalating beyond my control. Your suit is working at the Spore right now, building a biocode bridge between our technology and the Cep's. But we must have more time. Go with your fellow Marines, do what you can. I have not abandoned you, Alcatraz.
A mile from where H.H. Holmes lived, and found another victim.
Dropship incoming!
Hold
ground and take
there you go.
out!
I need this area secure! Coming from the heart!
Detective White is saying. White and see what here's a turn. The reporter said, this is a beautiful story. The reporter said, oh goodness, thank you. I gotta write about this. This is amazing. I can't believe you found this. This is incredible. So White said, this is the biggest thing. He's gonna write a new article. It's gonna feature me. I'm gonna be the hero. And also, how great is it that this article is gonna be written by him? Like the same guy who talked bad about me is now this is perfect. The next morning, White popped at the police station. He was greeted with all his fellow officers cheering and clapping for him, congratulating him on this huge breakthrough to find in this skull. So that Chicago reporter had immediately written a story about White's big find about finding the skull in the yard. And the front page
Alcatraz, hang in there, man.
Everybody
We're on our way.
read the story. He was a star. And to White's delight, the reporter even openly speculated that that skull might belong to H.H. Holmes' wife, Lady Williams, who really disappeared a few months after they got married, which was a huge revelation because nobody knew what happened. It's like, wow, Detective White, you figured it out. You found it. So Detective White had the best day of his life, this redemption, everything was great. Until then, on his way home from work, Detective White stopped at his very private newsstand to pick up a copy of the evening edition.
Taking cover!
Newspaper on the shelf. Looked at the front page. Coincidentally, his story, the normal story, was still very much front page news. But as he read the article, he stuck then, coincidentally, looked all around in his book. It would turn out, other than the human skull that White dug up on that property, all the other bones that so far have been found on that man's property have been horse bones. And more than that, the skull did not belong to a bird. So, fortunately, White's big breakthrough was not a breakthrough. But Detective White, he actually knew. He didn't know that from the first second he stepped in that box. Since that how they got clear, he become obsessed, not just with fixing his reputation, but specifically with getting revenge on that reporter who wrote it. And this bone scenario in his mind perfect. He'd come up with this elaborate plan to use pretend to find it, tell that specific reporter about it, and hopes that the reporter would write a completely incorrect story and then get publicly humiliated, exactly the way White felt like he had been humiliated. But White underestimated this reporter because the reporter, after seeing the skull that White showed him, writing that big article about how this skull can be connected to H.H. Holmes, the reporter gets that story out the door that 40s kid. For that same day, the reporter went to medical examiner to ask for more information on the skull. But the bones, that this skull likely was not connected to H.H. Holmes. The reporter began to see that this was set. He saw through the scene so that he told the reporter how White was being discovered.
I thought that thing
Basically,
would never
it said
go
was
Good job,
White
Alcatraz.
was a petty moron.
She was right
who
about
tampered
you.
with evidence, thought he could pass on horse bones for humans. And so White, after reading the story and realizing what a terrible position he was in now, that sound he heard all around him that made his blood run cold was the sound of the people all around him reading this article and laughing at his expense. About our stories, they are all based on true events, but sometimes pseudonyms can affect the people involved, and in some details, fictionalized for dramatic purposes. The Mystical Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories, is hosted and executive produced by me, Mr. Ball.
Alcatraz, hopefully I'm reaching your comrades too with this. I've bounced this signal off your suit to their comms.
Who the fuck is that?
My name is Jacob Hargrave. Now you may or may not be aware that Alcatraz's suit is evolving into a powerful bioweapon against the aliens you face. But in order to complete that process, a stabilizing agent is required. Alcatraz, you must go immediately to the Hargreave Rash building. I'm uploading coordinates now. Take your colleagues with you. You will need their support. Please make haste, all of you. The Ceph will not wait on us.
The audio from all three of these stories has been pulled from our main YouTube channel and has been remastered for today's episode. The links to the original YouTube videos are in the description. The first story you'll hear is called
the Hargreave Rash building. But the main entrance is blocked with rubble and the building is in lockdown.
The second story you'll hear
security systems show the parking levels appear to be at least partially unlocked. And from there you should be able to work your way up to ground level.
Is called Messiest.
The bio samples are in the research wing on the 11th floor. Elevator and staircase access is currently denied, but you'll be able to access the systems people from the security desk in the lobby.
We upload 4 times.
You'll need to hurry.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. So, if that's of interest to you, please replace all the follow-ups toilet paper with duct tape. Okay, let's get into our first story called Escalation.
Alcatraz, this way, man. Come on. Hargreave Rash Building's just up this way. Let's take it slow and steady, people. Move out.
Around 10 a.m. on July 26th, 2015, Hargreave Rash named Sean, husband, chased a 2-year-old son with a brand new playground. This playground was on the 6th floor of the mall in New City, which is in Central China. He said Sean and husband would come to the school today just so their son was basically able to make one. Currently, he's running around in circles and laughing hysterically when he thought he was cool. Sean caught up to his son, stood on, and placed him in the facility. Happily slid down to the bottom.